Royalty Beauty Brands is a female, Black-owned beauty company with all of your cosmetic needs in mind. Right now, we offer hair extensions, eyelash extensions, and our flagship product, Yumbella Lip Glam. Coming soon to add to our product line will be promo merchandise, lip oil, lip scrub, beard oil, body butter, body soap, and makeup, to name a few. Every product is vegan friendly and carefully made with the consumer in mind. Check out our Royalty Beauty Brand social media and go to our website to sign up for our exclusive mailing list for discount codes and to place an order. Don't forget to leave us some feedback. Royalty Beauty Brands. We see the beauty in you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to House of the Princess, where I am 50% righteous, 50% ratchet. We're going to try to pull through this segment today. See, don't get busy when you're about to have something good. I see the internet is not working that great, so that's why some things are lagging. I do apologize. I might have to switch internet providers in the middle of it. I'm gonna see how Xfinity works. So y'all know, if y'all have Xfinity, sometimes they get a little janky, okay? But y'all let me know how I'm looking, if I'm real green. But I just need to know if y'all can hear me. Give me a thumbs up. I'm trying to look at myself. Give me a thumbs up, everything, so I'll know if you can hear me. It's digitized. Okay. It's lagging. Let's see, because I only got one bar all of a sudden. Let's try this. It's going to pause for a second. Let's see what this does. We're still one bar. Huh. So look, worst come to worst, I'm going to get on my phone. Let's try it one more time. So I'm hoping it gets better. Yeah, but you know what? So that it's a storm out here. The weather is terrible, so all of a sudden it started lagging in every way. But I might have my production assistant. I might have to move everything up in order to do that. Did I lose my people? Oh, Lord. I hope I didn't. You can hear me. I sound better now. Okay, we're going to roll with that. Hopefully in a minute, the signal will get better. Anyway, I'm feeling bad. Some people say it's breaking. I'm looking at myself. Let me see. I'm trying to figure out what I can do about it at the last minute. This pausing. Yeah. I might have to transfer to my phone, which it won't look as pretty. But we're going to keep going. See, the devil is busy. He's going to make sure that he gives you an issue. So what we won't do, what we need to do for this show, but it's okay. I'm going to keep going. You're not late. Everything is cool. You're just in time. We're just doing the intros or whatever. So everything is good. I'm excited for tonight. I have had a good day. And I've been excited all day for this show. And I hope that it goes well. It goes in and out. I see myself and it's freezing. But it's on Granny right now. I'm reading your comments. Let me, I know what to do until the signal goes up. Give me 1 second. The voice clears up. This is what I'm going to do. Can you hear me? Oh, let's do that. 1 second. Okay, now we have a signal. I see it. I get you your wrench, Miss Dory. The signal is a little bit better. It's going in and out. My neighbors are arguing. I'm trying to put myself in it without hearing the echo, and I haven't figured that part out yet. It's ended up as well. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I usually don't start this show off this slow, but like I said, it's just the devil is trying to keep the word from going out. And so we're going to work it on out. Y'all know something ghetto happens every time during my show. So it's just never not this ghetto. That's because I took myself out of the other side. So I'm gonna try this as best as I can. I'm wondering. Yeah, but if I do if I bounce off of my phone, it won't be a good signal either. If I do Wi-Fi. But we're gonna just keep this trainer rolling. Again, we're talking about domestic violence. Also, we're talking about abuse, emotional abuse, financial abuse, and spiritual abuse, emotional abuse, anything you want to talk about, we're going to talk about today. Yes, it ain't a princess show if it ain't a little bit ghetto. And because of that, I want you to press the like button because you like that I'm sitting here trying. Please press the like button and also press the subscribe button to show that you support me, and make sure that you hit the notifications so that you can keep the show going. Encourage me, okay? Also, I want to thank you for my moderators, and we met yesterday. Most of them, or a good number of them, we met up. The rest of y'all, I get a chance to meet with you soon. They are called my knights. Why? Because they are the knights in shining armor. They come to protect, they come to serve, and they don't play. They'll give you a quick little stab if you get out of order. They're gonna get you right on in order. So I appreciate them. I appreciate you. Tell your friends to get in here on this good conversation, because this is gonna be a good conversation. I can feel it. I know it. It's gonna be all right. Thank y'all for coming in. Like I said, some of y'all came for the mess, but then you stayed for me. And that's what I want you to do. I want people to get healing from this conversation, get some things off their chest. See, there she goes. She got her sword. Get some things off your chest, and hopefully you'll take something with you. I got my tissues by my desk just in case. Excuse me. And also I got my bottle. I had to drink some wine today. So get your cool beverage. Y'all know you get a cool beverage if you sit down with me. We're gonna have a good time tonight. And it says it's gonna be 50% today. Right. Get you a cool beverage, relax, listen to the talk, and we're gonna have a good time. So without further ado, I'm not gonna stall or keep y'all waiting no more. I have two wonderful, lovely ladies that are gonna come in and speak and share their stories. And we're going to just pour into each other and talk about some things. First, I want to bring up my sister. Thank you. My sister, I know her from Facebook. She's the administrator. She's like in charge of the girls in the Yoni box. You can look that up on Facebook. They done closed us down so many times. It's called YB6 this time. What the devil means for bad, God means for good, and they keep opening. So ladies, go join the group. It's a safe space to say anything that you're feeling, to get advice, just to shoot the bubble sometimes. So I'm going to bring her up. This is Miss Angelica. Y'all give her a clap. Give her a kiddo clap. Give her a clap. Hey, darling. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. You're trying to make me mad, but it ain't gonna make me mad.
But you pushed through, so it's okay. It's okay. Hello, everyone.
Things happen.
I'm shy, so bear with me.
Girl,
I am.
Well, act like we in the group and you just opening your Barney bag.
So, Princess, thank you for having me here and for your lovely introduction. I will say former administrator of that group, but it is an amazing page for women. So follow it, join it. Safe place, former admin. So just telling my story, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I will start this off by saying I am a lesbian, just putting that out there, all the rainbows and stuff. And my story is about another woman. About 4 years ago, this happened to me. I was in a domestic violence situation, and it had all of the textbook. Thank you. It had all of the textbook scenarios there. And that's why I always say, don't be that person that says, if it was me, I would do X, Y, and Z. I wouldn't let that happen. I wouldn't be stupid enough, crazy enough, because you never know. You never know. She did not start out crazy, and I don't even like the word crazy. Actually started out very charming. Typical narcissists usually are. She was very, very sweet, very, very present, and that changed quite a bit, actually. And I will let you know before I truly get into this story, I have a nervous tick of laughing. Nothing about this story is funny at all, but you may notice me giggle or laugh. It's a nervous tick that I do have. But anyway, we started dating, and it got to a point where she got triggered, I guess. Yes, happy Pride Month. Thank you. She got triggered. She got to a point where she felt like she wasn't enough because I had friends that were masculine identifying women, dressed masculine or whatever, and we started to argue quite a bit. It went from verbal abuse, emotional abuse, to physical. And the first time that she hit me, it was the standard, I'm sorry. I'll never do it again. You know, I was just mad. You made me so mad that I hit you. I just want to say here, for anybody that has experienced domestic violence, knows someone that experienced domestic violence, more often than not, if they hit you once, they'll hit you again. I've had people that made me so mad I probably should have knocked all their teeth out their mouth. And I never put my hands on them. Never, not once. But it started with the first time. I forgave her. I stayed. And it just kept getting worse. It kept getting worse. By me staying, I was teaching her how to treat me. I was teaching her that I was going to stay and put up with that shit. I was teaching her that she could do whatever she wanted to do to me, and I wasn't going to go anywhere. That's what I ended up teaching her. She went from pushing me. It started with pushing. It started with slapping. It went from there up to literally pulling one of my locks out. I had one missing. It grew back. It's like this big, but it's back there. It's holding on. To blacking my eye. I still have scar tissue right here that hides my glasses. My glasses hide it, but I have scar tissue from when she blacked my eye. I had bruises that were darker than my tattoos. You couldn't even see my tattoo. She stole my car. She actually almost killed me. And that is what snapped me out of it, because I have a little girl. I have a daughter. And the thought of me not being here with her is what brought me back, because she, by starting off mentally and emotionally, she broke me down. She secluded me from my friends. She didn't want me to go out anywhere. She kept me from people that would have talked some sense into me. And that is how it often happens. If you feel like your friends or your family are pulling back for you just because they want to, more often than not, if they're in a situation like that, it's not because they want to. It's because they're really not given a choice at all. Not given a choice at all. So by me being so secluded and so broken down mentally, so hurt, so traumatized, I just was on autopilot. I was going through every day just existing. But the day that she almost killed me, because she almost threw me from a moving car, and she tried to cut me, among other things. I won't get too graphic here. I don't know. I know we can be open. I just don't want to trigger anyone. But her almost killing me is what snapped me out of it. And I called the police. I did. She went to jail for about 10 months. Florida is not the best with charging people accurately, I feel. But she did go to jail for 10 months. I do have a restraining order. It expires next year because this was 4 years ago. And yeah, it was something I'll never forget. I do now have PTSD. Not just from that. I have a lot of experiences with abuse and all kind of stuff from my childhood that we won't go into today. Maybe you'll see me again in the future here with the lovely princess. But I have PTSD. I have anxiety really bad. And I was never the person to joke about abuse, like, oh, I'll slap up whoever and all that foolishness. I was never that person, but especially not now. I'll hear people joke about it or see it, and it just sends me into a spiral. So I say that to say, I thank everyone for the comments, for your empathy and your kindness. I really do appreciate that. Little does Princess know, this is the first time I've told this story.
Oh, so wow.
So publicly. You know, I mentioned it a time or two in the group. That's a secret group that no one else can see. This is public, and I never did this, but I almost backed out, Princess. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know I'm a straight shooter. I was gonna be like, hey, my computer's not working or something, because everything in me was freaking out. But I was like, you know what? No, because just like I tell everybody else, I had to tell myself, I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor. And I'm not going to give her enough power to be scared to even speak my truth. So, thank you for having me here. Thank you, everyone, for everything that you've been saying. It's not easy, and it's not an overnight thing. If you've experienced abuse, don't let anyone tell you what your timeline for healing is. For any trauma, you heal on your own time. As long as you're putting one foot in front of the other, you're still moving forward. That's all you can do.
Yes. I know this is a hard subject. But I'm a person that's not afraid to tackle the hard subjects. What we're going to talk about tonight also is taking the shame out of living our truth, whatever it may be. I think we as women, we always have at least one person that didn't treat us right or did something to us that we were ashamed to even tell our closest friends that we allowed because we have shame in us. But there is no shame when people are doing things to you, especially when you gain strength to get out and change your life. You're still here. You're still here for a purpose. And I don't know who or how many or what, but these people out here in the audience, you're helping somebody. You're saving their life. And I want you to know that you are important. You are special. And we're going to hash it out. We're going to have a good kiki tonight. See, it's good that you share. It helps others to know they are not alone. And I think a lot of times we do think that we're alone, nobody should know that because again, we are the people that be like, oh, if that had been me. And those are the first people that that will be on the BS. You never know exactly what you'll do about any situation until you're in those shoes. Exactly. And I think that's important. But we're going to bring on our next guest and let her tell the story. And then so we can all collaborate together and, speak with the audience. Audience, you will be able to call in if you have a question, a comment, even if you want to share. We want to do some things about moving forward, talk about some healing and how we can support one another. Essence says, in my teens, my best friend was in domestic violence relationship. All of our older friends would say it could never be them, and it's been them. No one is exempt. Judge judge not. All right. She said, Danny says, your vulnerability will give someone else strength. All right. So next, we are going to bring in our second guest over at the house. She's new to the house, but we welcome everybody with open arms. And her name is Miss Kenquita. Let's give her a soul clap. Hi.
Hello. Hello. Hi. Hi, everybody. My name is Kenquita. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this, first of all. I was a little nervous, too. I was ready to back out. My stomach is in butterflies. I haven't really told my story to a lot of people. Although I wasn't in a physically abusive relationship, I suffered financial, emotional abuse. Growing up as a child, I was molested from the time I was 8 until the time I was 10 years old by my stepfather. Then at 16, I was raped. So, I had a lot of issues to deal with, and I think it caused me to pick situations that were not the best for me. I stayed in a relationship for over 10 years with someone I was engaged to, and he repeatedly cheated until he jeopardized my health, venereal diseases and things of that nature. And it got to the place where my self-esteem was so low, and I was only in my 20s. I was like 22, 23. I knew I should leave, and in my head it made sense to leave, but in my heart I couldn't walk away, and I stayed in misery. And it got to the place where I would literally lay in bed at night and I would cry and I would pray, Lord, please get me out of this. Get me out of this situation. I know this is not the best for me. Please deliver me from this situation. And so I did. I got out of it. It wasn't easy. It was horrible. It was horrific. The whole experience of leaving, he still lied and did things and left me like holding a bag with so much debt. We lived together and he just walked away. And I had to figure out how to survive by myself. And so fast forward, I stayed in another relationship that was just empty. completely empty. He was only with me for what I could give him, what I could do for him. And I stayed in it because I just didn't want to be alone, and I didn't want people to think that I was the problem with the other relationship, and that's why it ended. That's why he married somebody else, and all of these things. So I stayed in this loveless relationship with this person for 7 years, and I stayed single for maybe 2 years. And during these times, I was going to school and bettering myself and doing things. And I met this guy. We started dating. We got serious. We were together for 2.5 years. And there were red flags. There were red flags. Whenever I would ask him things about going to his house and spending time with him, he always had an explanation. He always had a reason why. Well, I'm just working late and you just bought a new house, and so we should stay here at your house. And I just love the area that you live in. You know, I live so far away. It would take us so long. And, oh, I know you're tired. You just got off of work. And so we don't have to, you know, he would do things like when I came home from work, he would cook dinner and stuff like that to keep me. Every question I asked him about things, he just had an answer. You know, I never met his mom. I never met his dad. We dated for 2.5 years. So when I would talk to him about it, he said, my mom passed away from breast cancer. And 2 years after she passed away, my dad passed away from prostate cancer. And I have 2 siblings that live in Mississippi, and I don't really communicate with them well. I have a brother that lives in California, and I don't really see him. I have another sister that lives in Atlanta. That's my baby sister. And we're together most often, but only when she comes here. He had a daughter. He used to bring his daughter to my house, and he would say, this is the only person that you need to meet. She's the most important thing to me in my life. I want us to be a family. I want us to be together. I was going through a difficult time where my grandmother was dying, which was the only mother I knew. My mom died when I was young. So I was really like spiraling. And he took that time to really get close to me. He was a perfect gentleman. He would go all around my family, and everybody liked him, and he was kind to my grandmother, and so he just stole my heart. And so I was, you know, I would just let those things go. So fast forward to 2.5 years later, I ended up pregnant. I thought I never could have kids. The doctors had told me I would never give birth to a child. I had been through infertility. It didn't work. Me and him had been through infertility. It didn't work. And so I was prepared to have a hysterectomy. And so I went to this doctor, and they told me about this procedure they would do where they were going to put me into temporary menopause and remove these fibroids that I had, because I had ended up in the hospital and I had to have a blood transfusion because I would just bleed for days and days and days and days and days. And so I was like, okay, it's time to get this taken care of. I go to this doctor. They do they tell me about the procedure, and they tell me to come in. They're going to do a DNC on me. So I go in for this procedure. They do the DNC. They tell me come back 2 weeks from now, and we're going to start you on these injections. I said, okay. So 2 weeks later, I'm in the doctor's office, and they had already rubbed my arm up, ready to stick me, and he stopped. And he was like, wait, let's do an ultrasound on you to make sure you know everything is okay, since we just did this DNC, because this shot is going to stop your cycles. So I'm like, okay. He did the ultrasound and was like, it was this Indian doctor, and I still laugh every time I think about it. He was like, this girl is pregnant. And I'm like, what girl is pregnant? He said, this girl right here is pregnant. And I was just floored. I was like, oh my God, how could this be? So, okay, so I'm happy and I'm all ecstatic, and I go home and I see him. And I know, okay, we're having some problems here in this relationship anyway. It's about to be in, because I've been caught on to just things are not adding up. And so I tell him that I'm pregnant. And that was one of the worst days of my life, because he proceeded to just go completely off on me. He was not happy. He was not impressed. And he talked to me like I was something stuck on the bottom of his shoe. He told me things like, you're so gross and you're disgusting, and seeing you pregnant makes me nauseous. And he was like, I hate this. And so for days, this is what he did. Every time I would talk to him, he just would try to just beat me down. And I found out on Friday I was pregnant. After work, that Sunday I started bleeding. Call the doctor's office, they tell me, you're going to miscarry. I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do, you're going to miscarry. So I go home, they tell me, well, you're going to have to go bed rest. And every week you're going to have to come in and get some medicine, but we're expecting you to lose this thing. So I had never been pregnant before. And I knew that even God sometimes will let you in your mess. And so I said, God would not put it on me and not to bear. He knows this would be the thing that would just take me out. I would lose it if I lost this child. So I was like, no, not that I serve. I'm gonna have this baby. So this man continued to, whenever I would talk to him or whatever, he would just beat me down verbally, just say anything he could possibly say. He was like so mean. It was like he was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. So until one day, I had been putting up with this for months while I'm trying to hold on to this baby. I was going to work, and he was taking me to work. And we got into this big argument because I had just had enough. And I started going off on him. And we were on the expressway. And he told me, he said, if you say one more word to me, I'm going to kick you out this car on this expressway. And he opened the door. And I was 100% convinced that I was going to lose my life. So I just shut up. I was like, so the Holy Spirit just said, just be quiet. Don't say another word. So we get to my job, and we were in this truck. And he got ready to, I was trying to get out of the truck. Now, mind you, I'm 3 months pregnant, and I'm kind of short. So I'm trying to get out of this truck. He tried to drive off while I was getting out of the truck so he could run over me. That was the last day I saw him. So I didn't see him anymore. He would still come by my house. He was stealing my mail. He had stolen my car. I had a 750 BMW. He stole my car. I was on bed rest. And so I'm trying to file a police report. They keep telling me it's a domestic. I got to go to this other court. But I can't because I'm on bed rest. And I don't have a car. No matter what I did, he wouldn't give me my car. He gave me all these excuses and all this kind of stuff. But he would still sneak around my house. I knew he was sneaking around my house. Well, I had just bought a house, just moved in, didn't have any credit card debt, any of that, had excellent credit. So I didn't pay attention to, mail with my credit card stuff because I wasn't using them. So just to get to the point, I went into labor when I was 5 months pregnant at work. Almost lost my child. But God, I didn't. He stayed. This man was not there. I hadn't seen him since I was 3 months pregnant. It wasn't until I came home from the hospital and my aunt started to bring me mail. And I'm like, what is this? Why do I have stuff from the toll road? So why do I have this? So I called the toll road because I saw there was a little bit of debt or whatever. And I'm talking to the lady about it. And I'm telling her, well, I don't have the car and this, that, and the other. So at first they were willing to waive some fees. And then she said, ma'am, you need to go online. You need to check out your account. I went and checked out my account. He had ran my car through the tolls to the tune of $80,000. The toll roads wanted $80,000. He had stolen my car. Not only did he do that, I started getting all these credit card bills. He had maxed out every single credit card that I had. He had stolen all of my money out of my bank account. And he was gone. And so I was like, okay, here I am with a newborn baby. I don't have any money because he stole my money. I don't have a car. I don't have anything. And this has been going on for months and I just didn't know it. And so now these collectors are coming after me. They're trying to garnish my wages at work. They're trying to just anything they could do to get their money. My car, they took my car. Car gone. Money gone. I just bought a 3-bedroom townhouse. I had to give up my house because I had to file bankruptcy. So I had to give up everything I had, everything else I had. So I had nothing, no place to live, no place to go, and I had a newborn baby. And I was sick on top of that because I had a C-section and it got infected. And so I had a wound back on my stomach, a backpack on my back, and a baby on my chest. And I had to find another place to live. I had to provide for us because he was long gone. And when I called the police to find out, figure out everything, and they had the investigators start investigating him and all this kind of stuff. And they eventually arrested him. And he just painted the picture that I was just a scorned woman. I was just mad because we broke up. That I knew he had stolen all of my stuff. And he was an attorney at one point in time, so he knew the law. He knew how to get around different things and say different things. So then they just told me, well, it's a domestic, but it's civil. So you would have to take him to civil court and get whatever you could get. So during this process of this investigation, they started to do a background on him, and they found out that he had been doing this for years with women. We discovered that he had 11 kids by 10 different women. That's what we could find here. They speculated he had kids everywhere. And I was just one of his victims that he had been doing this for so long. So it took me years to finally get my life back because I went through a depression. I went through thinking I beat myself up so bad because I blamed myself. I should have been smarter. I should have been wiser. I should have asked more questions. I knew people that were close to me was making fun of me. So I dealt with that, and judging me. She that was just stupid. How did she not see this and that? And it's like, so trying to deal with that and trying to keep my sanity going through this because I had a child to take care of. And no other parent. It was just, and I knew from that point when I was 3 months and those things happened with the car and him taking me to work, I knew I was going to be doing this by myself. I knew he was never going to be there. He was never going to help me. And it was just going to be me. But God had a better plan for my life because it was purely God. It wasn't me at all. I don't know how I made it through that. I went through counseling. I did get a counselor because I had talked to somebody about this. I'm like, listen, I need to tell you a story. And so it was the grace of God that got me through all of that. Nothing but the grace of God. And so I'm happy to be here today. My son is 8 years old. He'll be 9. Unfortunately, he's never met his father. He's never seen him. It's me and him. It took me a long time before I would date again. It took me 8.5 years before I would even consider the thought of being with a man after I went through all of that. It was just the last thing on a tall pole of all the things that I had went through in my life with the men in my life who were supposed to be there for me and good to me. And it just shut me down. It shut me down. I don't trust anybody. I don't want anybody. Don't look my way, and so I'm just thankful that God delivered me from all of that. And so that's my story. That's my story.
I'm muted. I'm just talking. Thank you for sharing. I'm gonna make an announcement. I do understand, and I was ready that this is a very triggering topic. Everybody's not ready. Also, everybody won't be able to handle this heavy of a topic. So if you have to leave, it's okay. I understand because it does something to you. You know what I'm saying? If you have any type of heart, you will feel some empathy towards the situations. And if you have went through anything like this, of course it could be triggering. So I understand. I definitely understand. I thank you for your viewership, your likes, your subscription, or whatever. But we're just out here hoping. I'm hoping that somebody is helped today. So I thank you for listening to the stories. Again, just like Angelica, Kequita, I'm gonna call you my other friend, Kanika. I thank you for being brave enough to share, and I thank God for having you. Cause I probably would have been with the baby in my hand trying to slit his throat. I ain't gonna So I'm sure that even that takes a lot of healing. Okay.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of
Yeah.
restraint. And I'm sure that you talked to God on a many a night. Like, first of all, what did I do to deserve some treatment like that? What could I have done? I know I ain't done nothing this bad to deserve people treating me like this. So you ask God or your higher power, if y'all have a higher power, why me? Why do I have to do this? What did I do to deserve this type of treatment? And then you go through anger, you go through hurt, you go through many different emotions when people are doing things to you. And I noticed you mentioned cheating, which I'm gonna have a whole nother conversation about cheating. And why people cheat on us and when do we accept cheating. That is a thing, but at the same time, when we go through abuse of any sort, we say we love this person. The heart wants what the heart wants. You know what I'm saying? And you thinking, if I could love this person through this mess, and they play with our emotions and our minds, then it'll get better, especially when you're dealing with narcissists. It's the whole thing. And I want to have a doctor come on and talk about narcissism, because narcissism is rampant right now out here in these streets, and it's a serious thing, and it damages a lot of people. Let's see. Essence says, thank you for holding the space. I just cry and hurt and feel how I felt when I was in that place. It makes me feel like taking the reins, but I must leave that to God. Yes. It's so easy sometimes when we want to get even and want to tear up clothes and, look, let me do something to you. Let me make you feel the hurt that I felt, whatever a person has done to you, and to just step back and let God do it. That's strength in that. Just that alone. Miss Drea says, were you able to get that off your credit?
Well, I ended up having to file bankruptcy. I had to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and it's now off my credit. I had to go through, like, I didn't have a car, and that was the hardest thing, because I've always been independent and able to provide for myself. So I don't know what it's like to depend on somebody else. And I was so in a place that I couldn't even get another car in my name. I was just completely bankrupt in every aspect. I couldn't even get a car. And here I was with a baby. So my sister had to get a car for me. She had to get a car for me. I was like trying to hurry up. I had to find another place to live. I lost my house. So I'm trying to find another place to live. And God just showed up. God just showed up and just helping me in every way. And it was nothing but the grace of God that I didn't go under, that I didn't have a nervous breakdown and fall apart. It was just God. God had a different plan. So he provided. I was able to find another place. Thank God I had a profession, so that when I got to the situation, as long as I could get back to work after I had my child, I would be okay. And so I found another place, but it took 7 bankruptcy and it just came off of my credit last year. So I had to file complete bankruptcy. I had to start completely over. But I'm here to say, even when you go through those things, God ultimately has a plan for you. I am now on my own business. I have a car. I just bought a location to open up my bakery. And so I'm just happy that, I have my son, who is the greatest thing in the world. And that was a blessing in the mess.
And he gonna make it work out. I'm gonna go back to this comment for you. Thank you, Kenquita Benson, for sharing your story. I'm glad God gave you the strength to share your story. You did not deserve that treatment at all. And just keep God first, and everything will fall into place. And also, I noticed something similar about your stories. is y'all both mentioning that your significant other tried to put you out the car while moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She opened the door, unbuckled my seatbelt, and was doing donuts in the parking lot.
Oh my God. So you could tip over and get out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could have jugged her too. Right in the side.
Thought about it. I did, but I wanted to get away. So that's how she ended up with my car, because she stole my car too. But she only had it for a week. She only had my car for a week. But I jumped out and I started walking to the gas station, and she's behind me. No, come back, get in the car. I'm sorry, I won't do it again. But I kept thinking about all those times she said she wouldn't do it again, and she did it again. So I kept walking. And excuse my language, everyone. I'm
this is the open.
Okay, because Princess know my mouth, but she just behind me. Well, fuck you then. I hope you die. That's why nobody wants you. That's why everybody cheats on you. All this other stuff. She cheated too. I'm not gonna tell the story of how, in case you do want more people, because the way I found that out was, listen, okay, just walking behind me. I was like, please, just leave me alone. Please, please, please leave me alone. Her mama texted me, harassing me at the same time. She finally left me alone. I walked 2 miles. Girl, I walked 2 miles to the nearest gas station, and I hid there until my dad and the police came that day.
Wow.
Trying to balance, make it through with where you've been. I look forward to having a daughter, but I must look back to make notes. Excuse me. There's a question here. Teresa says, where is he? We don't know, do we?
Who? No. Mm-hmm. Don't know. Haven't seen him since I was 3 months pregnant. No conversation with him. I don't know. When the police arrested him, he painted the picture, like I said, that I was just a, angry woman. And because he knew the law and he knew how to navigate around the law, they just was like, eventually said, well, it's a civil case, because he was your boyfriend and you and him were together for 2.5 years. You would have to take him to civil court. And although you would win in civil court, my attorney was like, yeah, you would win hands down in civil court. She said, but we've established the fact that he does not have anything. So you won't get anything. She's like, and so because of that, these debt collectors are still going to come after you. You're still going to have this debt. So unfortunately, your only option is to file bankruptcy. And here's the catch-22 to that. If I file bankruptcy, then I can't take him to court because the debt is there no more. So he walked away scot-free. And I've never seen him ever. Yeah.
He going to get his. That said, he wasn't helping with the child, but didn't want you to be able to take care of the baby either. He'll never have any good luck. Karma is real. Karma is real. People, it's really real. And look, Sharon is proud of you. She's telling everybody.
You know what? That's my aunt. That's my aunt. That's my aunt.
She letting me know. There she go. You go. Not the mama that she talking to you. When you talk about the mama calling, you be thinking like, well, what kind of trash is the parent? Sometimes apples don't fall far from the tree, and I ain't ashamed to say it because I'll talk about you and your mama.
To that.
I was naive to narcs until a few years ago. I drive trucks, and he wanted to argue at 1 a.m. while I was driving in Alabama on I-22, and he said he would grab the steering wheel, and I said, and I will let it go, and I did. Wow. It's amazing how people, it's like they don't care about their life, and then they don't care about yours either. Hey, my bishop.
Yeah. And there's that saying, someone that has nothing will help you lose everything.
Ooh. That's good. That's a good one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She said she ended up putting him out on the interstate and called the cops and had the nerve to call me and ask if I would pick him up.
Pick him up?
No, sir. That's why I left you there.
No.
So, oh wait. He said, that's what happened to me. See, and in the pre-show, I said we're gonna discuss abuse is not privy to just females. It is males as well. Yep. Anybody can be subject to abuse in adulthood. And when I used to call the police on my ex, they used to take him to the station and release him after an hour with no charges. Wow. That debt ain't no joke. Could you sue for pain and suffering? He's an a-hole.
I didn't think so. I don't know. You know what? But sometimes you got to thank God for removing you from the devil. You know what I'm saying? So that was a blessing in itself that I survived. I survived it away from him, and just I didn't care anymore. Just peace. You know what I'm saying? I had peace. And hurt people. So he was a messed up individual. I didn't want him around my child because and so I didn't tell this part. 8 months later, I get this person who reaches out to me on LinkedIn. And I'm thinking she's talking to me about a job and things of this nature. Just to make a long story short, it was his other son's mom that I never knew existed. She had found me. And she found me and she was like, can we meet? And so at first I was like, oh, okay. So we met up. And she starts to tell me this story about him, of how she had been in a relationship off and on for over 12 years. I didn't know she existed. I didn't know he had.
Wow, so she was sleeping with him while you were sleeping with him too?
Yeah, they had been off and on for over 12 years. And she was like, when we weren't together, we weren't together. So when we got back together, I never asked questions. And so she was like, I have to give you an apology because I've been all in your car and rode everywhere and did this, that, and the other in your car. She said, I would be lying if I said I didn't know you existed, in the sense of I knew that was not his car because I had my friend that worked for the toll roads run the plates. So I knew it was a woman's car. She said, but I had no idea you were looking for your car and he had stolen your car and all these things. When the police arrested him, how she knew me was because when the police arrested him, they arrested him from her house. To this day, we are now friends. Yeah. That's how she found me. Also because I did try to go for child support, and that was the address I knew. So I sent the papers to that home. Didn't know it was a woman there that he was dating. And so that's how she reached out to me. So we sat down, we had a long conversation. We talked, and throughout the years, we made the decision that our boys needed each other in their lives. And so this is them on this picture back here. That's my son and his brother. And we talk regularly. She hasn't heard from him ever again either. She was like, the day he got arrested from my house, I never heard from him again. So we don't know where he is.
He ain't gonna have no peace in his spirit after that. So let's go in before we take callers. Let's go into a few topics. So let's first, what are your advice on getting out of these situations, and also how to get help?
Did you want me to go first?
Sure. I would say, your face. Your gut never lies. Your gut never lies. If you suspect something before it happens, that feeling you have in your gut is your intuition, is your Holy Spirit. Get out. Love yourself more than anything else. You have to love yourself more. I think that was the first thing for me. When you recognize who you are in Christ, you recognize that you deserve better, you'll make different decisions. And I think for us women, especially Black women, being told that we're not good enough, we're not pretty enough, we're this, it's a shortage of men, or whatever you hear the story is, we put ourselves, or we just, I'm not going to say we put ourselves in those situations because it's not our fault. We just don't think we're worthy enough to just step away, and so we have to make that decision, because sometimes it can cost you your life. So you have to just know. And then because it's such a stigmatism on it, like even when I was going through all that I was going through, I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want people judging me. I didn't want people sitting up holding the conversation. And that's what we do. And we have to start to embrace each other. Women, embrace each other and love each other and be supportive instead of always sitting around talking about somebody. Help her, so we got to create a culture where it's a safe space where we can talk, but you have to make the decision to say, I love myself enough to walk away.
Okay, I got to pause for the calls, y'all. Look, I got my first super chat. And she gonna always be the first. And it's not even, yay, I'm gonna cry. Thank you, Evelyn. And she's one of my mods. She said, thank you for all your panelists and viewers for sharing your stories. Stay strong and prayed up. And thank you, Princess, for providing your platform, healing for everybody. Look, oh, y'all got me emotional now. I'm for real. Thank you so much. Yes, y'all, I can accept super chats today. So it's been a good day. Like, even, the devil's fighting with the internet, but this is important. That's why I'm 50% righteous, 50% ratchet. I want to be able to talk about any and everything that I feel like that's needed. I don't want to be boxed in the corner. Is this, we're going to talk about that? Yes, we will kiki definitely about reality TV, because I'm definitely doing Roha, different stuff, but we have different subjects that's needed for us to grow on a daily basis. And like I told my mom, rich people's problems is not necessarily something that's going to keep me going every day. Okay. I want my channel to be well-rounded and just about anything and everybody, whether it be silly or whether it be serious. So again, I thank you. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, Angelica. Y'all go ahead now.
I'm gonna whoop you and Facebook. It's Angel.
Okay, you got your whole government name up there, so I
can't figure out how to fix it. I ain't want to be late, but it's okay. Call me whatever you want to call me.
You can still change it. Hit them 3 dots on the side, and you can edit your name right there. So, Angel, there you go.
Let me do this while I'm talking. Okay. I have my whole name.
Yeah, you got your government name up there.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. So as far as first getting out, I will say my advice is to really engage in self-accountability, because a quote that I heard that I took offense to before I healed was that we have to also take accountability for what we allow, right? So the first time they do it, that's not our fault. Didn't see it coming, blindsided or whatever. But when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Maya Angelou, my favorite poet in life. We have to engage in self-accountability. We also have to heal from past traumas. And I said earlier that I almost backed out because I was nervous, but I know now why I'm here, because those that have been here from the beginning notice I did not include a lot of details in my story because I haven't told it before. But I also am thankful that I was here to hear Kenquita's story, because more often than not, those of us that end up in abusive situations have been through something before. And when I tell you right here today, I done been through some shit. I started being molested at the age of 5 by my mother. Also never shared that out loud with anyone. Yes, by my mother. And from there, I sat down and counted it one day. Total amount between molestation and rape is over 12 people. So for me to experience that growing up, that then rewrote my narrative for what love was, for what love looked like, right? And by me not taking time to heal, I convinced myself that that's what I deserved and that's what I needed. So where I then continued on from, which I will encourage people, when you see red flags, don't repaint them. This is not Alice in Wonderland. Do not paint the roses another color. When you see something that doesn't look right, call them on it. If you are with someone that is not exactly what you're looking for, leave. There are people in this world that will make you feel you can't have exactly what you want and deserve in a person. That is bullshit. It is not true. For someone to tell you that no one's going to believe you, no one else is going to want you, no one else is going to do you like they do you. Thank you, God, because I don't want anyone to do me like you're doing me. And for you to tell me no one else will want you, that's not true. But when someone breaks you down to a certain point, you'll believe that. In our community, it is not encouraged to go to therapy. It is considered rice-skinned people business.
Yep.
That is not true.
Yep.
I believe very highly in therapy. There are so many different types. I prefer cognitive therapy, but therapy helps. Find someone that you trust to talk to. Find a safe person. Yeah. Find someone that you go to no matter how you're feeling. You have to have friends that you're not embarrassed to talk to. And that's the hard part about being abused, because you feel embarrassed. We're convinced that, oh, you shouldn't talk about that. What will people think? What will people say? Fuck what people will think. Fuck what people will say. Because at the end of the day, people are going to talk about you if you ain't doing nothing at all.
Exactly.
People will always say, oh, that's stupid. If it was me, I wouldn't have done that, especially my situation, because it was a woman. Well, if I were you, I would have just whooped her ass. Okay, it's not that easy. Mm-hmm. And you have to realize if I anger her, it can hurt me and my child. So I go back to say, find someone that you trust to talk to. When it doesn't feel right, don't be afraid to leave. There will be someone out there to love you, even if it's just you. Yep. And you have to start challenging those things that you hear in your head, whether it's from someone else or from yourself. You're not loved. You're not this. You're not that. You are loved. You are safe. You are protected. Nobody can hurt you unless you let them. Those are positive affirmations that I tell myself every day. No one can hurt you unless you continue to let them. No one can hurt you unless you let them. It is nothing wrong with asking for help. You are not a failure. It is not just you. And don't take accountability for someone else's actions. That's all I got.
Yes. The question you should ask yourself should always be, do I have to give up me to be loved by you? I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. Yes. Find someone to confide in. I think even, especially addressing Black women, but women do it overall. But I think also in the Black community, because the things we're taught and conditioned to, that we are conditioned to stand by your man or woman, stand with your mate, no matter what they doing.
Girl.
You know what I'm saying?
Struggle love.
Yeah. Stay with them. I think we think that we love them enough.
I remember growing up and hearing, I grew up hearing, keep what's going on in your house in your house. And so it kept me where I wouldn't talk about things, because you don't want people to judge you, so you won't say anything. And that goes back to the molestation piece as well. Growing up, I had people around me who actually, I didn't find this out until I was an adult. They knew what was happening and they did nothing about it. Like I was molested by my stepfather. My mother knew the whole time and she never did anything. And then she reached out to other people in the family on her side. And so they all knew, but nobody did anything. And so it was messed up being an 8-year-old child. And these things are happening to you. And the people that are there that's supposed to protect you, because it wasn't like I wasn't trying to tell. I was trying to tell. And they would just dismiss me. And it was because I found out when I was grown. My mom already knew. So, of course, she was just dismissing me. And I was so traumatized when I found out, when I was 11, that she knew. And I didn't find out till I was an adult that other people knew. You don't know what to do. And so you touched on something that was very poignant, because most women who go through these traumatic experiences have experienced some other things in the past, and so you're dealing with this self-worth and lack of self-worth, should I say. And unless you get around the right people and you're able to talk about it and speak about it, you're not going to heal. Mm-hmm. And so it does set you up to end up in other places because you haven't healed from that pain, and so I think that's the thing that we have to, even with our daughters, for us that have daughters, love on your daughters, even little boys, because it happens too. Love on your children. Pay attention to your children. Your child comes first, not the man you want to be with. You know, and that's what I always thought. My mom, she chose him over me. She allowed him to do what he did. And I was the ticket, you know. And so that perpetuated a lot of things throughout my life that I felt insecure. I felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like nobody loved me, and I had trust issues with men. And my trust issues led me into bad relationships. You know, and that's a funny thing, but because you are broken, for less of a better description, you choose broken people, and you choose people trying to get them to something that they're not, or be something that they're not, you know. And it took me to go through that and just really start to really pray. And I went through counseling and just to discover who I was, you know. And so I just made the decision that, hey, now it's a whole nother ball game. It's a whole other ball game. I don't entertain people that I think are no good for me. And, you know, I pay attention to the red flags now. And I became okay with being by myself. That's another thing. You know, you have to figure out who you are. Learn how to love yourself and be okay with yourself and be okay with being alone, you know, because if you don't heal, you'll just keep perpetuating the cycle. So like I said, it took me 8 years before I would even go out with anybody. And because I felt like I got to discover me. I got to learn how to love me. I got to be okay with me and me being just all me by myself before I can even engage in somebody else's life or have somebody else be in my life. I got to love me first.
Yeah. And you know, what you speak of, what both of y'all speaking of, is generational curses.
Yep.
Yes.
You know, I was not by anyone in you know, close proximity, but those things that our mothers and fathers deal with their self-esteem, self-worth.
Yes.
She stayed with him because she felt like she couldn't do no better, or she wouldn't have anybody else. And she used you as the sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? These things happen. Abuse begets abuse if you do not stop the cycle. And it doesn't have to necessarily be sexual abuse. Like I deal with physical abuse, emotional abuse. And I fight with that when dealing with my children. Well, let's not do this, but we do things because this is what I was taught to do, whether it be overtly or subconsciously. These are things that, you know, or we're triggered and we spaz out on our children because something that's lying dormant from our childhood or something someone did to us. And I also wanted to make another point that Angel said about, you know, just beat the girl's ass. Let me tell y'all something. It is a stigma in same-sex relationships that just because you're in a relationship with the same sex, that means you just beat your partner's ass. Just like if it was a heterosexual relationship, whether it be male or female, somebody gonna be stronger. Somebody might get their ass beat. Somebody might not be. Okay, it's the same situation. No matter what combination it is, there is a person that's more dominant than the other. And you may not be able to fight that person. You may not want to fight that person. I have plenty of male friends that are in homosexual relationships that have been in abusive relationships. Still type of relationship you are in. And I want people to take that stigma away from your mind that it just happens like that. Just be you don't beat people's ass. You in love with a person. You don't want to fight that person. Your defenses are taken down because you know I want to defend myself, but I love that person. I don't want to have to do this to you. Whether even if it's not physical, like she's being financial, I don't want to have to send your ass to jail. You know, I had a nigga that was cutting up on me. You know, hey, don't do it. Please leave me alone. Please, you know, you try to disengage or whatever. And I'm sorry for using the word.
50-50.
You know, but then he was a narcissist and he was engaging me. And I really didn't understand the depths of narcissism and really what it was at that time, and that I was in a narcissist relationship. And then I had to call the police. It wasn't that I really was that engaged, which I realized after. I wasn't that engaged in the relationship, but I was stuck because of the narcissism. And I cried for a few minutes after I put you out of my house, and I was kind of okay because I started mentally taking myself from the relationship. But sometimes we're still stuck. We're still stuck. I didn't want to have to do that. And then he called back, just like Evelyn's, why you do that? You know, but you know, I told you I was gonna, don't put me in that place. I was gonna do it. And well, I'm mad at you because you did that, and I still love you, but I'm not gonna forgive you for calling the police on me. Well, what are we talking about then?
Right.
Right. What are we talking about? Exactly. You just wanted to play with me, you know. Mm-hmm. And it's amazing how people will do that. When God is in control, you'll never be steered in the wrong direction. He'll be all you need if you just let him in. I promise. The best thing I've ever done in life. Life has bumps, but they're not as hard. So Debonair said, I could tell you all kind of stories.
You know what's sad? There are so many men that suffer abuse and can't say a damn thing. Mm-hmm. And the stigma that you talk about not only applies to same-sex relationships, it applies to men. It also applies to dominant women in those situations too. The most embarrassing thing I experienced while with my ex was people's speculation to my situation. Well, she couldn't have beat you that bad, could she? Even while they were taking my statement, the police basically said the same thing. I had to pull up my dress to show them all the bruises I had. I had to move my hair out my face to show them that she had punched me so hard in my face, it broke the skin, and I had a bruise from here. It bruised both of my eyes just from her hitting me right here. And I hate that because someone's size, someone's masculine identifying, someone's anything does not prevent them from being abused, does not prevent them from being hurt. And oftentimes, verbal abuse and emotional abuse can hurt worse than physical. Bruises fade. Words don't go nowhere. Nowhere. And I hate that. I hate that so much. And that is why with my daughter, I talk to her all the time. Just Saturday we were at a pop-up shop because I'm a business owner too. And there was a yoni product woman out there, and my daughter's like, oh, what kind of products do you have? She's like, I make items for your I said vagina for your vagina. And that surprised her because more often than not we give these little cute pet names to these body parts. You can't do that because you'll have children telling you, oh, stepdad keeps eating my cookie, uncle keeps eating my cookie, talking about her vagina, but you got her calling it a cookie. Mm-hmm. I'm very open with my child. After all this stuff happened that I'm telling y'all about, I became mean. I did. I was hurt. I was embarrassed. Yeah. I was so many things, and I started being mean to my child. And I'm lucky enough to have a best friend that's going to call me on my shit at all times. She said, what you're not going to do is that. As far as you've come and everything you talk about breaking generational curses and not putting her through that, that's what you're starting now. So you're going to stop that. And I stopped. It wasn't her fault. And that is why, even though it's my first time saying it out loud, I've started talking to friends. I've started talking to potentials that think they want to date me, but they just like the idea of me, not the reality of me. Like, hey, you want to know about my traumas? Come on, grab some coffee. Let's talk. Because when you hold it in, you get embarrassed. You get upset. You feel hurt all over again. You're that same little girl that was molested by whoever. You're that same young woman that was abused and mistreated. And that does not define you either. That's something I had to learn too, because I started making that the title to my book instead of a chapter. Like, hi, my name is Angel. Nice to meet you. By the way, I was abused 3-4 years ago. It's a story to tell when you're comfortable, but don't feel obligated that you have to introduce yourself that way, because that does not change who you are as a person. You're still dope. You're so strong. You made it out. Do you know how many people don't make it out of those situations because it's such a stigma to say anything? You're so scared. You're so terrified. that you never make it out. Once I saw my face, princess, I saw them bruises on my face. I said, oh, this girl gonna kill me. She's going to kill me. Bruises all over my face. People always say, oh, you should have beat her ass. The one time I tried to fight back is when I got that black eye.
Wow.
The one time I tried to fight back. Because she was already hitting me. But when I tried to hit her back, she let loose on me. Let loose on me. And that is why I don't judge anybody's situation. I don't say, oh, she's stupid. If that was me, I would have did X, Y, Z. You don't know what you would do until you're there. And if you don't humble yourself, you can be there. You got to humble yourself when it comes to other people's situation. Princess knows this. I'm not religious, but I was raised in church. And I highly believe in karma. I highly believe that you do not look down on people because you could fall. You so busy laughing at them, you done tripped and you in the same place they are. You don't do people like that. You do not do people like that. And I highly believe when you do wrong to people that ain't did a damn thing to you, it comes back to you. My ex got out of jail for beating me, but she's back in jail for doing it to somebody else.
Wow.
You don't do that to people. But as far as these children, I love on my baby as hard as I can. Between what my mama did to me, I was scared to be a parent. I was terrified. My mother physically, mentally, and emotionally abused me from the time her and my dad went through a divorce because I looked just like that man. And I realized now
a lot of parents do that.
Exactly. And my mama went through hell when she was younger. It's a cycle. It is. I'm breaking it. I'm not putting my hands on my child like that. I talk to her. I discipline her in an entirely different way. I'm not telling nobody how to raise their kids. I believe in a different way. I communicate with my child. I tell her every day how beautiful she is, how much I love her, because she's not going to go out here trying to fill an empty void. She's going to find someone that adds to her life, not fill nothing that's missing because she's whole by her damn self. Mm-hmm. And I feel if a lot of us would have had them when we were younger, people like these people could have stepped us. We'd be like, oh, baby, no. I'm not dealing with that. Mm-hmm. And I know that I was so broken and so hurt. I just wanted someone to love me. She told me she loved me. That meant she loved me, right? She didn't love me. That's not love. That's not love. Right. I said earlier, I've had people do stuff to me. I should have knocked all 32 teeth out of their mouth and never laid a hand on them because I don't believe in physical violence. I don't feel there is anything in this world that can make you look at someone you love and want to hit them, hurt them, push them. Try to hit them with a fucking car. I don't believe there's anything in this world that should make you that way unless you're predisposed to be that way. That's not love. And if you have friends or family that you feel are in that situation, don't lead with judgment, lead with love. Because they already getting hell from the person they with. Yeah. What's wrong with you? You stupid. Why would you deal with that? No, I love you. I'm not judging you. Whatever you need, I'm here. I tell all my friends that. Even if it's a situation that's not abusive per se, but it's toxic. Our generation loves that now, huh? That toxic stuff. Oh, yeah. We fuss, we fight, but we right back together. He's coming back because you letting him. And ain't nobody else finna deal with that shit. That's why he keep coming back. Not because he wants you. Not because she wants you. Because you're letting them. And you're teaching them how to treat you. I had to learn that. I'm not going to talk about the cheating story today again, because unless you want to talk about it another time, tell me why today I found out she cheated on me. She beat my ass. And then my crazy ass went on Snapchat. Yeah, she cheated, but she's still here. What? It's crazy. I was so mad later, but I couldn't fault myself because I was in too deep. I was. And I had to realize, I just recently became single again because I told myself, I am not putting up with shit. Not saying we can't have bad days. Every day's not a good day. That's not realistic. You have to see someone happy, sad, upset, grieving, pissed off. But if you get mad at me and you talk to me like I'm some random motherfucker out the street, you belittle me, you berate me, you mistreat me, bye. Because I have no problem being alone. I love my own company. And I have a little best friend that's going to be with me for the rest of her life, whether she like it or not. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Sorry. I get off my pedestal. I get really irate about my people because we went through enough. We've gone through enough. History-wise, I'm not welcoming chaos in my life anymore. I can't. Not just for my sanity. My little girl is looking to me to see what love looks like. So if she's seeing me depressed, hurt, crying, being talked to any kind of way, she gonna get older and she's gonna feel like that's what love is.
Yes. Examples are important. Examples are important.
And unlike me, she got a mama that's gonna shake something about her, so we just gonna avoid it.
Aura says, I watched my dad abuse my stepmom for years. The first time he beat her bloody, and my brain refused to be in a relationship. That's trauma. You just need healing. But you see what isn't love. And when it's time, I want you to work on opening your heart so you can receive the love that you deserve. That trauma is hurting you and blocking you from receiving what the universe, God has for you. You know, but only when you're ready. That's the thing. It can only happen when you're ready.
Yeah.
And I want you to find a safe space to start your healing, because that's important. That's something that you're going to carry for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. The girl says it's called fight or flight, but sometimes your ass is so shocked that you can't do either. You don't know what in the world to do in certain situations. So please don't judge anyone's decisions.
Exactly.
People tell you they love you. In fact, they only love what you can do for them. We're going to take some calls in a hot second. Look, they giving you a lot of praise. Y'all are really, I'm shocked. We keeping the crowd. Those who are here, you're really helping them. I'm a survivor, beat down, ear cut off. Abuser tried to cut my 8-month baby out of my stomach with a knife, and the knife would not cut. I called out to Jesus, and he saved me. God bless you.
Man.
God bless you. That's a traumatic experience.
That is.
Love is action. Good evening, Princess, and everyone in the chat. My UK family. Just showing some love before I go to bed. Prayers and blessings out to all of you. I hope everyone finds healing better in life. And I can see her courage coming out. Yes, Angel. Yes, she is not nervous no more.
I'm not. That's why I'm talking so much, because I ain't nervous anymore. Princess, no, I talk. Before you move to the next topic, can I say something to Ara? Is that okay?
Yes. She said I received that.
All right, I know I don't know you from a can of paint, and I'm from Mississippi, so I'm a little country. I've been where you are. I grew up seeing my mom arguing and throwing, and the police having to carry me out of the house because there's broken glass everywhere, and failed relationships and mistreatment. And I always told myself, I don't want to get married. I don't want to be in a relationship because I don't want that. But the thing is, you have power over your life. If you don't want it, you won't have it. You have the power to say, I'm going to date you until I decide I want you. And even if I decide I want you, I still have the right to walk away if you don't treat me properly. That's your choice. And that's your power. When you're ready, I shared earlier, I have PTSD, I have acute anxiety, and I suffer badly from depression. I cried for 4 hours this morning because I was so nervous about tonight. I was like, what? Oh, fuck, I can't do this. I was like, you know what? No, because I am a survivor. I'm not a victim. Nobody can use anything against me that I said out my own mouth. Because I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of anything. You have to take that time to yourself, pray or meditate, whatever it is.
You take the power away from the enemy, away from the devil. He can no longer hold that.
Yeah. But I just wanted
you
to
have
say
to
that.
speak it. When you speak it, I was nervous too. I was like, I've never told publicly, but I said, when you speak it, you take power away from the devil. He can't destroy you with that anymore because you spoke it yourself. Yeah. And not only that, in speaking it, it's healing somebody else. So I just looked at it as it's not about me. I thank God that he's using me to minister to someone else who may be in this situation that they're so alone because we don't talk about it. We have to start talking about it. So my thing is, my pastor always says, shame off you. Shame off you. I'm not ashamed of what I went through. I don't hide what I went through. I don't look like what I went through. So I thank God, that he kept me. So if me sharing my story on this platform helps another sister out or gives her a way to get out, then I'm all for it. Use me, Lord.
That's what it's all about.
I'm glad y'all didn't back out.
Yeah.
I adore you. And I know any platform that you provide is a safe place. So that is why I was like, you know what, Angel, suck it up, put your big girl panties on, let's go. Because you're not there anymore. That person can't hurt you anymore. You're not that 23-year-old, 25, however old I was. Anyway, I'm not there anymore. And by me, like Kenquita said, when we share our story, even if it makes us nervous, even if it scares us, it's someone out there that ain't told anybody what they're going through yet because they're so afraid. They're so ashamed. And I'm telling you right here, right now, it's time. You are safe. Once you seek help, you will be safe. They convince us that if I tell someone you're going to hurt XYZ,
it's going to damage. Yeah.
Exactly. What are people going to say? What are people going to think? Oh, well, no one's going to believe you. That's fine if they don't believe me. I'm going to keep telling my story, though. That's okay. And I have people to this day that don't believe me. My ex is so well known.
It's your truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My ex
and
is
it's
so
fine
well
if people don't believe it because you could care less about what people believe about you. You got to get healing and seek healing. So who cares what somebody else has to say about you? Who cares if somebody else is judging you? Who cares? We do as women, we focus on that, but it's like you got to save yourself and step out of this and not worry about who's going to care about you because they're not putting food on your table. They're not stopping him from hitting you. They're not paying child support. They're not ministering to you when you about to commit suicide or give up. They're not. So who cares what somebody else think? It's about saving somebody's soul. So I could care less what somebody think about me and you judge me about. That's you. And that's your smallness. I'm big. I'm bold. I'm going to tell my story so that I can help somebody else. And I could care less what somebody else think. I'm going to tell you all the things that happened to me. And you can sit back on your own and judge me. But while you judging me, I'm making moves. I'm growing up. I'm coming out of some things. I'm breaking some bonds. I'm breaking some chains. I'm breaking demonic forces off of my life and my children and my children's children. So you keep sitting back and judging me about the flaws that I had and the mistakes I had because the God I serve, he does not judge me. He said, I am beautifully and wonderfully made. He said, I had plans to prosper you and not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. So I'm going to stand on his word, and you could judge me all you want to. You can miss me with that. I'm going on.
Girl, and I think that's the offering plate. She got all up in it.
I'm just saying, because we do, and we have to be, because you feel ashamed, you feel embarrassed. And I know there's some women out there that's going through some stuff and they really are afraid to say something because they don't want that. They don't want to be judged. They don't want the stigmatism, she was stupid or she should have left. Forget what somebody got to think about you. What my grandmother, my grandfather used to say, what I eat ain't going to make you go to the bathroom. And I'm saying it in a nice way. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but if it's going to save my soul, if it's going to save my soul, and it's going to deliver me out of this mess that I'm in, I'm going to speak about it. And I'm going to help whoever I can help. And I could care less what the next person think about it.
All right. Now, look, we're going to take our first call. We're going to have Miss Little Bit. Welcome to the chat, darling.
Hello. How are you guys?
Hello.
I want to say you guys all look so beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is so crazy, but I happen to be reading this book, right? And it's by this Black author named Joy DeGruy. And do you guys know that author?
No, I've never heard.
Okay, so the book is called Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome. And I wanted to know, can I read some quotes from the book, Princess?
Sure, as long as you read a couple, because I don't know how copyright works with that. I'm still new to this, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, no, I'm not gonna do it then because I don't want your video to be striked. But it's basically just saying it's talking about trauma and how trauma, according to epigenetics, can be passed down through DNA in generations. Right? Did you guys know that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. and it talks about it just gives like some stories about how in the slavery days when mothers would be in the field and like slave owners would come to her and like give a compliment to their daughters or whatever, and the mother would pretty much degrade the daughter. But you know, back then it was something like not positive, but it was like something that a mother had to do, you know, to protect her child from being raped or sold. But somehow it was passed down through generations, and it became this thing that mothers like do to their children, mothers or fathers really, and it became like a negative thing. You guys see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I thought that was like really cool that I was reading this book and you guys are talking about what you're talking about. But I just want to let you guys know that we are all strong, and we all can get through anything that we go through. And I just want to give you guys those positive words, and I'll let somebody else come on.
Put the information in the chat in case someone is interested in the book, or you know,
please share it.
It's deep. It's so deep, y'all.
And then I'll put it in the description box. I'll find it and put it in the description box.
Okay. Well, you ladies have a good night.
Thank you
for calling. Welcome to my house, to the castle.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, we're gonna take our next caller. We got our UK family is in the house. One of my faves. It's Carlina.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, thank you for sharing your stories. They will help a lot of people. It's really inspirational to hear. I think it's really important that we share stuff and talk about it more so people can understand that we're not alone in our journeys and what we've been through. There's a couple of things that I wanted to pick up on. So obviously we all have like similar experiences, but they're all very different and very, very unique. So with mine, I was in 2 relationships that were violent, where I had domestic violence. The first one, I was 20 years old, and it was like my first serious relationship where I lived with somebody. And we was together for 3 years. And for the first year, everything was fine, but I didn't notice at the time that there was like little bits of control creeping in. So starting with moaning about what I wore. So I started to change the clothes that I wore to please him. Then it was if I was cooking, he didn't fancy what I was cooking. So then it would always be that we'd only eat the food that he liked. Going out with friends, he would never say, you can't go out with your friend. But what he would do is like, I'd say, oh, in 2 weeks' time, at my friend's birthday, we're going to this club or whatever. And he'd be like, yeah, that's cool, go and get your outfit. And then as it got closer, he'd start going, oh, I really want us to do this. Oh, I'm not feeling well and stuff. And then I would feel like I'm doing the good girlfriend duty by not going and staying and looking after him, when really there was nothing wrong with him.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all of those little things that kind of built up where you become codependent on that person. And I became dependent on him in an emotional way and felt like I was taking care of him and being a good girlfriend, and this is what you're supposed to do. And it wasn't that he isolated me from my family and friends. I kind of did that myself because I become so absorbed in the relationship in our little bubble that I distanced myself. And once I'd done that, things changed. So he would, I used to go to work Monday to Friday. He would keep my bank card, go and take money out and give me an allowance out of my wages. He started to become physically violent. He would go and do the food shopping and buy stuff like corned beef and rice and things that I don't eat, that I don't enjoy eating. So even to this day, I can't eat corned beef and rice, and this is 20 years later. Wow. So I would cook food that I couldn't eat. It became really, really bad, and it was really, really violent. And I was like scared all the time. I never answered back. I never fought back. I always tread on eggshells, tried to make him happy. And there was a lot of words that he used to say that used to make me feel like it was my fault, I was doing something wrong. And I believed that I was damaged, so therefore this is why it was happening. And long story short, with that situation, it ended where one night it was really, really violent and flew me down the stairs, dragged me into the kitchen and held a knife to my throat. And I honestly thought I was going to die. So I fought back at that point and managed to get out of the house and then ran to my mum's. But when I actually got to my mum's, this is the middle of the night, I just broke down and slept on the doorstep because then I felt ashamed to knock on and say this has happened. So that was the first situation. And after that, obviously, I was like really down, really depressed. But I believed everything that he said, that I was damaged, and wouldn't date anyone and was just down all the time. And then I met somebody else not long after that who was like really, really nice, really charming. Got into another relationship that then just went violent very, very quickly. But by that point, one, I believed that I was damaged and it was because of me. Two, it reinforced everything that I've been told from the previous relationship. But three, I had a fire in my belly and I was like, nah, I'm going to fight back this time. If this is my life, I'm going to fight back. So with the second time, every time he hit me, I used to fight him back. And he was a big guy, so I took the brunt of it. Like, I didn't do him any damage, but I felt like if I fought back, I'm standing up for myself. And it progressed to things like I would then justify the behavior, where I'd think to myself in my head, if I stay at home and I cook his favorite meal and I do all this, he's going to beat me anyway. So I might as well just not go home from work and stay out for 3 days and party. Because when I go home, I'm still going to get beaten, but at least I've had fun for 3 days. So I would behave like that because it would justify the situation that I was in, and I would believe that I've done something to justify it. And with that, that went on for a long time. And I never left that. He left me for another woman. And I didn't understand it at the time. I was like, how has he left me? Why has he left me? And just, you know, had a few years of like partying, doing all like unhelpful behaviors. So coping strategies that were damaging to me, let's put it that way, drinking and stuff like that. And it was like 5 years after that ended that I had a complete breakdown and realized that what I'd been through still had an effect on me. And it was when I had a breakdown that I then started to look at my healing patterns and what I needed to work on. And then it started pouring out. I saw a therapist. I ended up being in a psychiatric ward, being on medication, seeing a psychiatrist, all these things because of the damage that had happened and I'd not addressed it, but also because I believed that I was the problem. So I had no self-worth and I felt so low of myself that I had to go through a long process of trying to build myself up. Now, I'm in a much better place. I work with people that have been abused. I work in mental health, particularly with trauma victims and stuff. So I give a lot back to them. But in terms of healing, I think what's important to note is that people always have a misconception. Firstly, that once you leave, everything's fine, when actually the after effects of the abuse are much worse than actually living in the reality of the abuse. The second misconception that people have is that we all have the same experience and that it's always physical or it's always emotional, one or the other, whereas actually it's usually a combination of all different things. And the psychological abuse that is what stays with you. So you might not be getting hit anymore, but you always have that psychological effect that stays with you. I think the third thing that I wanted to kind of just point out, and from my own experience and my professional experience as well, is that the trauma never leaves you. It's just that you find ways to live with the pain. You can never get rid of the pain completely. You never completely heal from what's happened to you. And you'll have moments where you're going to sit and cry for 5 hours, or you're going to go and put something on and be self-conscious about it and question yourself. But you find a way to live alongside it. And once you find a way to live with your pain, then you really start to live. It's not about getting rid of it. It's about learning to process it, what's happened to you, understand that that wasn't your fault and that you wasn't in control of another person's actions. However, you can be in control of your actions going forward. The big turning point for me was that I found it difficult to process what happened, but I started writing everything down. So if I could write down, as I started to write down my story and write down what happened to me, visually seeing it and reading it back in front of me, it made it more real. Because then it was like, it's on paper, I processed it better than just a mumble jumble in my head. I could process it and go, this is really bad. Like, I'm reading this as if it's another person, but this is what's happened to me. And then it separated the fact that it was all mumbled into one melting pot, and it separated it out to, no, this is the actions of that person, and those actions were wrong. And I'm a person that needs to heal from this. And I think another point is that you have to start to pour love back into yourself, and any relationship that you go into with the future, you cannot give everything to another person, whether that's family, friendships, a romantic relationship, even your own children. You have to keep something for yourself, because if you ain't got nothing left for yourself, you're running on empty. You're no good to nobody, especially not yourself. And that's basically all I really wanted to say. I feel like I've just poured it all out there.
I would just like to say, you touched on something where you said the pain never goes away and you can never heal from it. But I believe that you can. The memory does not go away. The fact that you experience these things does not go away. But when you find yourself, when you go through a healing process, whether that be counseling, getting into groups or whatever, the pain goes away. We make the decision not to let our past dictate our present. And so because there are things that happen to you, they're not continuing to happen to you. We have to make the decision to let go of the pain. The memory is still there. And when you think about it, you know this was an experience, but to let it destroy you or have you feel in some kind of way, when you think about it, you can heal from that. You can heal from that because you know, like you said, it's not my fault. This is not something I did. I ended up in a bad situation, but I'm not going to let this bad situation stunt my growth. I'm not going to let this bad situation hinder me to the point where I can't love somebody else, that I'm not willing to take a chance on loving somebody else or take a chance at life again. So the pain doesn't have to stay. We have to make the decision to let the pain go. You know, not the experience and not the fact that we went through these things. It makes you more mindful when you're dealing with people, of course. But to just be
I agree. I think it might be a language thing, because I don't necessarily mean pain in the sense of like an ongoing pain, an ongoing struggle that you never heal from. So you do heal in terms of you move forward, you progress, you are able to love again. But there's still always going to be, the pain is the wrong word, I use the wrong term, but there's still always going to be an element of what's happened to you. It's a part of you that's always there. So therefore, and it's not a bad thing that it's always going to be with you, because that is what makes you cautious and more eyes wide open when you enter a relationship. That is what makes you be able to spot the red flags and believe that you are better than what's happened to you. What I mean by that is, so it's not about the pain as in like it's a painful experience, but that pain, where that strength came from, is from the pain. That's what I mean. So there's still that part of you. It's always going to be a part of your story. You can't run from it. You can't get rid of it, and you can't erase it, but you can use it because it's always going to be there, and it makes you stronger, and it makes you more aware of what to look out for and all of those things, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say what you just said is very important. Because about 2 years ago, I started having really bad anxiety. I started going through depression really bad. And that is because at some point in time, I tried to convince myself what happened to me didn't happen to me. I tried to look at it as it happened to somebody else. I wouldn't turn around and face what was standing right behind me. I kept running. I kept avoiding. I kept ignoring. And that same best friend, you got to have people around you that will not only call you on your shit, but be honest with you and love you through it, no matter what you have going on. And she told me, she was like, you have to acknowledge it. You have to acknowledge it. It happened. It's real, but you're not there anymore, and that's okay. But you can't pretend that it didn't happen, because you're stressing yourself out by trying to pretend it didn't happen, because that's making you ashamed, and that is starting the cycle all over again. Turn around. Face it and acknowledge it, because what you think you're running from, you're thinking it's a monster, when in reality, it's just you. It's just a part of you, a piece of you. So turn around, give that child that's inside of you a hug. Let that inner child know that it's okay and they can go now. So I like that you said that. It doesn't define us, like I said before. It's not the title of our book, but we can't just rip it out because we don't like it. Got to keep it in there.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I teach at work is radical acceptance. So basically about accepting something completely and utterly accepting it in its whole entire form. And I teach that now, and it's something that I had to learn to do. And even at times, even though I teach other people to do it, there's still times where I question it, and I have to remind myself to do it. And basically, the principle of it is that no matter what's happened, no matter how bad the thing is, whether it's the childhood abuse, this, that, and the other, it's not about forgiving someone that's done something wrong to you. It's not always about forgiveness. It's about accepting the reality as it is, and accepting that this happened to me. That's really sad. It makes me feel this way, and sitting with that so that you're able to then move on from it. Because until you accept that it really happened and how it really feels, you can't process it properly and you can't move on from it. And therefore, you're not able to fully forgive and move on and live your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have a comment. So Debonair says you have to seek closure. And sometimes it doesn't come from the person that harmed you, but sometimes it comes from self.
Yeah.
Most
often it's never going to come from the person that harmed you.
Yeah.
If you're being real, most often it's probably never going to come from the person who did it, because they're narcissists. They don't see that they did anything wrong. So we have to seek that healing for ourselves. Also, the forgiveness piece of you forgiving that person has absolutely nothing to do with them. It has all to do with you and your healing, and that's what helps you to heal. Yes. So you have to, that he was ever going to apologize or never going to come back around. I had to get that for myself. I had to seek that healing for myself and go through counseling for myself to get closure for myself. You know, because usually 100% of the time it's never going to come from them.
Ever. And we stress ourselves out looking for closure, looking for apologies. That ain't going to happen. I forgave my mom last year. She died in 2014. And never apologized for what she did. Never wanted a relationship with me. And that's what's crazy too. Despite all that was done to me, I still wanted her to love me. I still wanted a relationship. Not Stockholm syndrome, but at the same time, that is what can also put us in bad situations when people that are supposed to protect us, supposed to love us, abuse us. Then we come across these crazy strangers that's treating us how that person we love treated us. Oh, they must love me. They treat me like shit.
Yeah, that's what love is. You believe that's what it's supposed to be like.
Mm-hmm. You gotta let it go. You think that person that hurt you give a damn about you being mad, about you being upset? No. They don't care. They don't think they did anything wrong. They don't care about you being mad. But when you forgive, you let that hurt go. You let that grudge go. You let that anger go. You stop losing sleep about it. You stop seeing that person's face on people that ain't did nothing to you. You stop bleeding on people that didn't cut you. And that's when you take your power.
You'll see, this is the thing about taking your power back. You see that person that's done damage to you or that hurt you, that you love and whatever, and they've hurt you, by responding to them or trying to get revenge or lashing out at them and all of these things, or even contacting them to ask why and get closure and ask questions, you're giving them your power. That is what they want. They want to feel like they've still got an effect on you. And the way you take back your power is by not acknowledging them, putting it all into yourself. And trust me, I've seen the first guy, it must have been about 4 years ago. I hadn't seen him for years. And about 4 years ago, I seen him in town. And I did go a bit anxious because it was the first time I saw him, so my chest was beating a little bit. But he stopped and he said hello. So I stopped and said hello to him. He asked me how I am. I was like, yeah, I'm doing really good. I've got a great job. I'm doing great. How are you doing? And he was like, oh, not so good. I'm like, okay, then take care. Bye. But I felt good because I felt like I've not given him any of my power. He's not, if I would have ran away from him or my life was going completely crap or I was showing some emotion, I would have given him my power and he would have walked away still feeling like he's powerful and he's having an effect on me. So the greatest revenge is let karma do its thing, pour it into yourself and you succeed in your own life, because that's not what they want you to do.
All right. Well, thank you, Carlina.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Look my feet up. Thank you for calling in. I love you. I might
I love you too. Bye. Yes.
Bye-bye. All right, we have our last caller that's in the queue. If you want to get on, hurry up and call before we close it on down. But first, I want to acknowledge a Cash App. Thank you, Asia Poston, for your Cash App, for supporting me. I appreciate everything. I'm going to save up and buy some more equipment as I go along and put stuff in here. I thank everybody for your support. Let's go through some of these. It was mentioned that men are abused but can't speak about it. And that alone makes it so hard to love a man who hasn't been loved properly. Women too. Woo! That's a word. That's a whole another show.
Yeah.
Too. I just wanted to go through some of the comments. Yes, Angel, that word, you stop bleeding on people that didn't cut you.
Making people pay for stuff they didn't do. It's not fair.
Yes. Bodacious lady says, I recorded a PSA for a men group regarding the effect of abuse. These men were the abusers. I was told that the whole room was crying after hearing my recorded PSA. Thank you, Tasha.
A lot of the people who hurt these people that we're speaking about, these are damaged people themselves. These are broken people themselves. These are broken people that maybe things happen to them too. And that doesn't give them a pass. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that hurt people hurt people. And so if they've never healed from whatever issues they've been through, whatever traumas they've been through that have caused them to hate women or caused them to become abusive because maybe they saw this abuse in their home, or maybe they were abused, maybe they were molested, and this is a cycle that just keeps perpetuating in families. You know, we have a lot of that where, you know, there's an abuser, but nobody talks about it. Just keep the kids away from them, you know, and things like that. So these people grow up to damage other people, to hurt other people because they never got it either. And so when we look at that, then we have to say, it's not an easy fix. It's not a forgiving them, but they're broken. How can they give us something they ain't never had? How can they apologize when they don't even get that? Yeah, you're damaging people. You're hurting people because they're so full of hate. They're so full of anger. They're so full of animosity that they never heal from it. Now, just like you said, they want to bleed on us. You know, so that apology and everything else that we're looking for, we can't get that from them. We can't get from them what they don't have. And we're not there to be their saviors. We got to figure it out for ourselves and move on with ourselves and forgive them, because hating them is not going to do anything for us.
Correct. It just lives. That negative energy lives inside of you, and it will come out hurting you in your health, in your finances, in your life, in your relationships. And these people are living rent free in your head. And it's better to just let it out and let it go, so that you can bring positive energy to your soul, to your life. I was going through some things for many years, and as I grow, I tell stories, because sometimes I have shame in things I've went through, but as I'm growing older, the shame sheds away. And then there are times that I've been negative. I don't even know that I was being negative. And then I was going through so many things in life. And one day I made a conscious decision and said, I'm going to be happy. I'm definitely going to get free, and I'm going to be more positive. And when I started working more towards that and telling myself, you're going to be happy, okay? Even when you're having a bad day, the energy around me changed. Certain people that were manifesting negative energy, they started to move themselves away. And my whole energy changed, and my atmosphere and my circle changed as well. And things coming back and forth to me, like in life, positive things started to change. So I want to tell anybody out there, make it a choice. Say, I choose to be happy. That don't mean when you're going to be happy every day or your whole day is going to be great. But when you have negative things, it helps you cope better and deal with other situations, and
Yes.
being able to not just jump and get depressed all the time, not to have high anxiety, because I deal with
Yes.
anxiety sometimes, but it helps you cope better, and it brings positive energy to your life. And I really do believe in that part, bringing positive energy to your life. When we say we reap what we sow, that goes in every aspect of your life. You need to think of it in your finances, in your emotional health, your mental health, your relationships, the way you treat people, everything. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to bring on the house manager. Sick girl, hey.
Hey everybody,
Hey,
how y'all doing? I just
good.
wanted to
Hi.
say it's so crazy and heartbreaking that so many of us in this room right now has been through some type of abuse. I think that is like the saddest thing ever because also I
You
just want to
there?
say you always have to make your happiness a priority
Mhm.
because if you're not happy,
Yes.
you can't make anyone else in your life happy.
Mhm.
Like you said, you will
Right.
start cutting people that didn't even do anything to you. That's why I also say, when it comes to our children, we have to love on these kids, not just our own, but all of these kids. Because guess what? The kids that nobody loves, that nobody cares about, maybe the child that your child ends up with in the future that hurts them. So we got to grab them all. Because if it wasn't for the generation that came before us, where would we be? So what makes us better not to give back to our next generation so they can have something to give to their next generation?
Right.
Very true.
Yes.
Very
And
Generational
true.
curses turn
yeah,
generational blessings.
yeah,
Let's change them over from curses to
yeah.
generational blessings.
Mhm.
And I commend you ladies for coming on here tonight because I don't think I could have been brave enough to do it. So I really appreciate y'all sharing y'all story because you're helping a lot of people. I know you helping me because
Mhm.
I was never physically abused, but I was mentally abused for over 12 years because
Mm.
I didn't want to leave for my kids. I always thought if I left, he might not be the dad that he is now because he's mad. You know what I'm saying? So I stayed. But please do not stay in a relationship because you think that's good for the kids. Because guess what? You're hurting your kids more because they see you're not happy. They see you crying. They hear what he's saying to you. And that starts to becoming normal to them. So we damage our kids more by staying in a place that God did not design for us to be in.
Yes. Yes. I think we have a hard time releasing that. Sometimes we question our spirit. Um, is this what God really saying to me? You know what I'm saying? Or, if you had just a higher power, because everybody has names are different. But is this really for me? And we second guess what we should be doing. Um, but you got, as Kenquita said earlier, you got to pay attention to what your gut says,
Mhm.
and our
Thank you
guts
so much
don't
for
lie
opening
to
up
us.
early.
Yes.
Well, thank you, thick girl.
Thank
This
you.
the number one, day one,
You know I'm
one of the
always
day ones,
ain't going
and
nowhere.
I love my day ones, my day twos, and my day futures.
But I'm just a
But
little
thank
special, even though that's not a word. But thank you
thank you
guys. This
for
was really much needed. Thank you, Princess, for doing this because you just don't know. You helped so many people today. And the people that will watch this after this, you also help them get through some things that they probably don't even know they're going through. Because trauma is so crazy that you could be going through trauma, but you really think everything is okay. Until that one day where you just break, that straw breaks, and you like, what the hell is going on? It's that pain that you was trying to mask coming through.
Yeah. You snap out of it.
Exactly.
You
But
snap
thank
out
you,
of it.
ladies. Y'all be safe.
Thank you, love.
All right.
I'll
You're
see you in the
welcome. You're
chat.
welcome.
Love you.
Love you more.
Okay. And now we have my boo finna come on. My day one of my day ones. So Debonair. I know you got
Hey
some fans in
y'all.
the
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to cook and notice at the same time. But it's so funny that we are talking about this stuff this week because when I started my channel, like I've been trying to tell this story for like the last 2 weeks or whatever. And so, I finally decided to post it. And a lot of times on my channel, I talk about how music helps me get through stuff,
Mm-hmm.
trauma in my life. And so when I hear you guys talk about, trying to get through those things and making peace and forgiveness and all those things like that, that was a journey that I took in my life. It was hard because I did it by myself. People didn't know what I was going through. And I mean, that's why I probably cry so much now because I literally just thank God a lot of times just for being there with me and walking that journey with me by myself. But one thing that I did was I did get into counseling. And actually, a reason why I really love basketball was is because I believe it was either Evan or Tammy had went to their counselor and they talked to them about writing a letter to their younger self. And that is the thing that healed me from a lot of trauma in my life. Um, it was almost like I actually seen that little kid that needed that healing, that apology, that comfort. It was like he was still following me around my entire life. Um, and so tomorrow I'm actually gonna tell a story about how I got there and all that stuff. But I always tell people, if you're going through things like that and you feel like you're holding on to that, that is the exercise that I always recommend people is writing that letter to your younger self and making peace with yourself because you may not be able to get that from the person who's done those things to you, but you're allowed to apologize to yourself for letting you go through that as an adult.
I was gonna mention that too. Facebook we journal, but because sometimes some of the things I've said back in the day pops back up at me in my face, and you sit there and thinking like, where was I at that day? Where was I at that time in my life?
Hmm.
Sometimes you remember where you was in that time of your life, but I think journaling sometimes is important when you
Hmm.
feel that you can't get everything out even at that moment to anybody. Journaling is also a safe space
Mhm.
to talk those things out even with yourself, and to help you get your thoughts together and your ideas together and get things off your heart and help you sort out some things.
Yeah, Jamie
And
Foxx said
have less
something.
people to share, and I empathize and understand. Yes.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx said something that was really powerful to me. And he talked about, us as being creative people and us going through things and us walking around and doing those things by ourselves. And he said, we always wonder why we always are, why we can't let these things go, or why does it come out in our creativity? And he was like, it's because we're trying to be creative by ourselves, but the reason why we never get over these things is because we don't actually plug into the actual creator. And that's whoever you believe in, if it's God, if it's whatever religion that you're in, you don't plug into the creator. So you may be trying to be creative on your own, but until you tap into the creator, you won't be able to really fulfill whatever that mission is that you're looking for, that you're trying to heal. I carry that with me everywhere I go.
And say it again, so if they couldn't catch it because the signal is bad. uh you can't be creative. What? I know the line, but
Yeah, he said he said we try to be creative all the time, but we never can fill the void because we don't actually tap into the creator. I mean,
and
like
that's
like
so
God,
important.
whatever you believe in, like your God, whatever God you believe in, whatever your religion is.
Yes. And I think that's so important. Um, you have anything else you want to add, sweetheart?
That's all. I just wanted to call and support you, say I love you, and all, and I love you guys' story, and I appreciate you guys for telling it because I want to help somebody.
Thank you.
I love you too.
Thank you.
Mwah.
All right, bye guys.
Go.
Bye.
Creative juices are flowing when you get in touch with yourself. Yes. So as we bring it on down, um, any words about let's talk about lifelong healing and how to start, if not start completing the healing process. Angel?
I'd say as far as healing, it's not pretty. It's not going to be easy. And there's no true timeline to it. Because you can think that, oh, okay, so I faced this, I dealt with it, I wrote it, I burned it, I journaled about it, whatever you said that you did. But then a trigger can come along and take you right back there. You have to be kind to yourself in the healing process. That is not a pity party. That is not time to beat yourself up. That is not time to also point fingers at everybody else either. That's your time with you. Acknowledge what happened, accept what happened, and get past what happened. And getting past something is not the same as getting over something. I hate that phrase, get over it.
Get over
it. It makes me angry. Ooh, it makes me so angry. But yeah, just take that time. And it looks different for everybody. So someone can give you suggestions, but you got to find what works for you. Me personally, writing works for me. I'm a poet, spoken word poet, and I write. I avoided writing for a long time when I wasn't healing, because when you write, you can't run from yourself. So writing works for me. Music works for me. Water calms me down too. Even when I'm having an anxiety attack or anything like that, I'll run my hands underwater if I can't get to the ocean. That helps me. You have to find what your medium is. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Don't feel like you have a limited amount of times to talk about something either. If you're surrounded by people that ask you, damn, you still talking about that? That still bothers you? Get from around them people. Them ain't your people. That's not the people you need to be talking to, even if it is therapy. Whatever it is, whatever looks right for you, that is lifelong healing. Like I said earlier, one foot in front of the other. That's all that you can do is your best. Your best might be 20% one day. It might be 90 the next. As long as you're doing your best, that's all you can do.
Okay. Kequita?
And I would say you own your healing. So you heal at your time. You know, it's a process, just like Angel said. Nobody can tell you when it's time to be over it, when your moment is up. This is your experience, it's your life. So it's in your time frame, but you have to do the work. You know, you got to put in the work if you want to heal. You have to find things that bring you joy. Like for me, I serve on a lot of ministries. I talk, I speak, and I like to bake. You know, you have to make a choice. It's a conscious effort to say, I want to heal from this. I want to be over this. I don't want to be in this situation anymore. And only you can decide that. So only you can decide your time frame, and only you can decide how far you want to go with it. How happy do you really want to be in life? What amount of this do you want to hold on to, or do you want to release it completely so that you can be whole? You have to find just who you are. And I think that's when the healing starts, when you recognize who you are, when you start to know who I like, what I don't like. And I think when you start to do that, you'll discover that you're healing just by doing those things. Self-care, you know, just take a moment to embrace yourself. Start loving yourself, you know, and forgive yourself. Because a lot of times when we are in these situations, we blame ourselves so much that we hold ourselves harder and more accountable than even God holds us. You know, you have to learn how to forgive yourself, you know, and I think in that's how you'll start to heal.
And you mentioned self-care. and for a long time. And I'm going to talk about mommy health too. We're going to have a show about that. I'm a giver naturally, but for years, and I know a lot of people exhibit this, I feel shame for doing something for me, for doing something selfish. So I'm learning as a part of my personal therapy is to do self-care. Now I don't have no shame. Yes, I'm gonna go get my nails and my nails done. Okay, my feet and my nails done. Even if it's that small, I'm bald headed, so I don't have to do a whole bunch of maintenance. But if I feel like buying a wig here and there, and just sprucing myself up. I just recently started. It's also because of the shows changing my image. When I sit and think about, I'm holding things like I've had a pair of shorts for 10 years or clothes that for forever, and feeling shame to buy myself something. That's a part of our self-worth, part of our self-esteem, whether we acknowledge it or not. To think that you're not supposed to do for you. Yes, and you're supposed to do for you. Selfishness is okay. Okay, that don't mean you don't be selfless sometimes, but sometimes you have to be a certain amount of selfish in order to take care of self.
Yes.
So that is important also when you're healing, because sometimes you think I don't deserve it, but you do. You do deserve it. Why not? You know what I'm saying? You deserve it just as much as you spent that money on your mate to buy them an outfit and make sure that they was looking good, and spend all your money on their food and all of their care, whether you paid the rent, whether you let them drive your car and you pay for the gas. We've all done some things, okay? That, I don't have no shame in it. That you could look back and say, well, they might have been using me. We might have all dated a homosexual, something. But we took care of them. And you took away from yourself. Honey, it's okay. Don't take care of them people no more that won't take care of you. And you take care of you. And as Angel said earlier, it also leads the way to make sure people will treat you the way that you're supposed to be treated, because you're showing them this is what my standard for me. And you need to be able to meet up to these standards. I shouldn't have to take away from me to be there for you.
Yep.
AP says, I've done that for 2 years. Didn't buy no new clothes or a good upkeep of myself, especially when you have kids. Yeah, I'll F them kids in a minute, okay? I done learned. It's about me. I'm not saying don't take care of your kids, but we always put them first. Look, I had to learn this lesson. My good old sister-in-law tricked me. And she says, okay, you have to go to work. And you need a pair of shoes, and your children need shoes, or your child needs shoes. Who do you buy a pair of shoes first if you only have enough to buy one pair? And naturally, the mommy in me says, you buy the kids' shoes. Like, I'll go without shoes. And she said, hell no. You buy you shoes because you're the one that's got to get to work so that you can make some more money to be able to make money for the children to have shoes and to have what they need. But we don't think like that. She said, how you going to go to work if you ain't got no shoes?
Right.
Selfishness is important sometimes. We are important too. You are important too. I'm telling somebody, I don't know why I said, but you are important too. Oh yes, me too. I have 2 little boys, aged 2 and 4. And I be feeling so guilty just think about doing for myself. I do everything for my kids. Yes, honey. This week I'm gonna talk about that good old empty nesting. And I've given my whole life to these children. Okay. Now I'm like, So y'all look out for that this week. I'm trying to figure out what day I'm gonna do that. I'm on to the grandson. Yes, and I want to, whenever the grandkids come, baby, I'll take care of you while you here, then send you back to your parents. Yes. And be done. Wow, yesterday I just told my growing daughter that right now I don't deserve to buy anything new clothes. She just looked at me and said, why? And I couldn't answer. Yes. Go on and make you your little budget and go on and shop till you drop. Take care of yourself. It makes a lot of sense. I definitely don't think like that. We don't. Here go BJ. Empty nesting is the best life. Yes, and the grandchildren. So, do y'all have any closing words? Let's start with Angel.
Honestly, I would just say take care of yourself, especially speaking about self-care right now. There is selflessness and selfishness because, as Carolina shared, you can't pour from an empty cup. Make sure the same consideration you have for everybody else, you have for yourself. The same way that you go to bat for everybody else, you go to bat for yourself. Because the same love you give to everybody else, you deserve it just as much, if not more.
I love it.
And I love all of you. But that's it.
Miss Kenquita.
I would just say consider yourself first. Love yourself first. If you're in a situation, seek help. Know that you're not alone. And that if help, you'll be, but your healing, you have to take responsibility for it. It's your own. And know that you are beautifully, wonderfully made, and that you can survive this. We are all strong. And just remember to love yourself daily. Love yourself daily. Speak positive affirmations into yourself every day. One of my affirmations was that God said, I had plans to prosper you, not harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And so I would say that over me all the time. And I would say that, and I would put my name there, and I would say, Kequita, you are beautiful, wonderfully made. And I would just keep saying that to myself. Whenever I start to feel down or whatever, I just kept speaking that over you. You have to master your thoughts, because what we think eventually comes out. It says out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So if we start to speak positively over ourselves, it'll start to manifest.
Yes.
And I love being a part of this. I thank you for bringing me onto this platform. And I just hope that our stories touch one person, save somebody, or you just could relate to the story. So I thank you for allowing us to be able to do this.
I appreciate you coming. I appreciate you being open and transparent and supporting me by coming and telling your story. And I could tell, usually the chat is popping depending on, I got a growing audience, but it's popping depending on how many people are in here. These folks is quiet, okay? I can see that it's a lot of people in the room. It's more likes there, but they're not speaking. And my spirit tells me is that people are watching and they're taking in the information that is going out, and whatever way we could get it. I'm gonna take it. Also, I'm gonna do some housekeeping in a minute and tell y'all how to share information if you want to go beyond this or you want to speak anonymously. That's fine. But first, I want to promote y'all's business. So, Kenquita, you want to promote what you do?
Oh, my business is called K Cakes, and I'm a baker. I'm located in Lombard, Illinois, and I do all kinds of cupcakes and cookies. I do pecan bites. I do bundt cakes, like nothing but cakes. I do strawberry, lemon, vanilla. I do all of those different things. I'm your dessert specialist. So check me out. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. Kcakes 2014 on Instagram and Kenquita Benson on Facebook.
Okay. I want you to give me the information. I'm going to put both of their information in the description box for the people on the replay so that y'all can catch it and look at their websites and support them. Okay. And Angel.
So I am a creator. I did already share I'm a poet, but my business is Touched by Angel LLC. I do create custom waist beads, bracelets, necklaces. I also have sage, make anklets, a lot of little things like that. I do readings too, but that's not on my website. But I'll send that information to Princess so she can share it. I really enjoy making custom pieces. Most of my pieces are one of a kind, but that is what I do.
And they're beautiful too. They are beautiful. I admire. I'm still gonna get some pieces. But yeah, look, somebody, your niece supporting you. She said, "Oh, look! Oh, I like it."
That's one I made.
She said, "He calm bites on a bomb."
I love that.
Essence says, "This is a deep convo. Whether it's self, family, or friends, we all know someone who has been through. Some survived, but some didn't. But the energy is good here. You feel it, Princess. Thank you. Thank you. So again, I want to thank y'all for coming. And you're always welcome back to the House of the Princess.
Thank you.
I'll put y'all backstage.
All right.
All right.
So I can still see them. We still got some comments. Okay, Angel, I will keep you in mind. I got a couple of these banners here. I got to put them up. Look, there you go. That's one of my moms. Shay said, I've been looking to get some waist beads so she can make you some and get you together. We do support businesses around here. I was so used to the mess and the aviators. I feel odd listening to the panel with 100% positivity. Princess and Candy are teaching. Thank you. Like when we get over that hump, it's gonna be over. Okay, but I ain't gonna speak about it no more. I was supposed to be here. I was Googling how to make waist beads yesterday. Oh wow! See, you got another one. Here go, Auntie, Auntie. So you got some hand claps here. This has now become my favorite place. Oh, thank you. Also, that is the new Cash App. It's House of the Princess. If you want to support me, and today I can do super chats. I feel good. I'm just happy today. Also, y'all know, if you don't know, I'm going to bring some bundles in here. I sell my own custom lip gloss. This is the Yumbella lip line. This is the color I have on today is skin. Oops. And I done dropped it. And you can get that at Royalty Beauty Brands. I got these big soup coolers so it can go on like this. But if you can see the reflection, it has a light in it. It has a light and it has a mirror on it. So when you out at night and you got to do your lips and things, you can be like, I don't need no mirror. I don't need my phone. You got it all together. I also sell, I'm going to upload the merch real soon. That came to me in my mind earlier that I've never put the shirts up there. Along with, I have to put the lip oils in the new holographic line there. Also, excuse me, had a little too much to drink. Had a little belch. But we at home. Okay, so I have to put the merch up there. Also, I do have lashes and I do have hair. And I got that good hair, okay? Not to kind of get all matted and whatnot after you wear it one time or you get to shake it in one time. I have bundles and I have lashes. So I got everything up in the house to make you beautified, okay? A little bit says, go back to the roots of the ancestors. They use crystals to get through a lot of the massive trauma they went through. Our ancestors are examples. If they can get through it, we can for sure. Thank you, Jessica. I hope I don't offend you with my joke. Oh, all right. I missed that. Okay. Anywho, I thank y'all for supporting me. Last week was a key with that we talked about breastises and things and all that. So go get you some good bras. I don't know when I'll have the tittyologist back, but she'll be back. Also, if you want to talk in the group, I do make my group on Facebook a safe space. It is House of the Princess. Everything is pretty much House of the Princess. So you can send a request on Facebook for the group House of the Princess. And if you want to have something anonymous and you really want to talk about something, send a note maybe for Angel or Kenquita or me. Or you might have another topic that you want to talk about and we take it to the throne room and we'll discuss it. It's at info. My email is info@hausoftheeprincess.com. So I do have that email available to you. Also, all of my mods that are not in the group chat and my mods that I haven't talked to, inbox me on Instagram or email me. We have a good group chat. We had a good kiki yesterday and we talked and we had a good time. But I want to be in touch with everybody that's a part of the community. A little bit. Yes, I have crystals out of the wazoo, and they're definitely serve multiple purposes. Here go thick girl. It's also perfect when the lips are so chapped that is afraid to turn into the light in front of you. Yes, all of my lip glosses are all natural. They have oils, coconut oils, olive oils, that's a whole about oils and vitamin E. I don't forget what's in it, but it's all natural and vegan friendly. Oh yes, my cheerleader, Mr. Cotton. Thank you so much. Thank y'all for the love. Y'all don't know how this encourages me, and y'all's love keep me going, and how y'all help me, keep going. And I get discouraged sometimes, even myself. So I thank y'all for that, and I thank y'all for the love and encouragement that y'all giving me. Your look phone is illiterate, not you. And I love y'all. Does anyone have a solution for people who want to wear lashes but you wear glasses? Angel, don't you got some lashes on sometimes? I just kind of wear my glasses like off a little bit. What's your suggestion?
If I wear my glasses, I have to wear them down like this.
Yeah, you wear them just down a little bit. Just down a little bit.
Yes, because your lashes going to be windshield wiping your glasses. So I have to wear them down or just not wear them. And that's not safe. So
yeah, or I wear like my contacts. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving you a new pair of glasses. Y'all going to see me wear glasses a lot more. So, yes. All right. So, with that being said, again, like this video, subscribe. Y'all have pressed me. Y'all have been liking. Thank you. Okay. Subscribe to a sister. Okay. Subscribe. Hit the notification bell. If you don't know when I'm going live, hit the notification bell, but make sure you go up there and you press all, and it will tell you all the times that I'm going live so you won't miss anything. Thank you for the people that are watching in the replay. And I love everybody who has sat in, even the people that are in the back. One of my mods say in the bushes. That's okay. Okay. But we ain't had, other than the internet. I apologize for the internet, but that's out of my control. The weather's out of my control. But again, if something ghetto don't happen during my show, then something ain't right. Okay. I thank you for your love and support. I am Princess, and you are in the House of the Princess, where we are 50% righteous and 50% ratchet, but it's all 100% love. I thank y'all. I love y'all. And now it's time for me to turn out the lights. Y'all have a good one. Royalty Beauty Brands is a female, Black-owned beauty company with all of your cosmetic needs in mind. Right now, we offer hair extensions, eyelash extensions, and our flagship product, Yumbella Lip Glam. Coming soon to add to our product line will be promo merchandise, lip oil, lip scrub, beard oil, body butter, body soap, and makeup, to name a few. Every product is vegan friendly and carefully made with the consumer in mind. Check out our Royalty Beauty Brand social media and go to our website to sign up for our exclusive mailing list for discount codes and to place an order. Don't forget to leave us some feedback. Royalty Beauty Brands. We see the beauty in you.